Well, hello.
Well, hello to you.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling as good as you're looking, man.
Ooh,
baby.
sweet talker, you.
Well, what can I say? Hey guys, welcome back to the Sunday Sizzle.
Ooh.
I am Steel with a Stea1e, Steely
And
McKay.
I am the one and only Batdizzle.
Bat Daddy. Oh my.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Raise your hand if you're feeling sexy. Raise your hand if you're looking good.
My hand's not the only thing raised.
Ooh, raise your penis if it's both.
No.
Or
penis.
your vagina. Raise your vagina. Scratch that. Scratch that. So tonight, Dizzle and I are going to be going over, recapping our predictions and seeing how we did on the Game Awards predictions. Who was going to be winning what in each of the categories here. A couple surprises, not many, but there are some spoilers
There was a couple surprises.
There were one or two real Cinderella stories in there. Really made me happy. And then we're going to be recapping our thoughts on Darksiders Genesis as well. We just about half an hour ago finished up our playthrough of it. Finally got the main storyline done. We spent the past week dual streaming that here on Twitch, and it
was glorious.
It was fantastic. No, we're not going to get into it yet.
Nope.
Nope.
Jumping the gun.
We're doing the Game Awards first, and then we're gonna get into the Darksiders sexiness. It was so fucking good, dude. I can't hold it in.
Darksiders Genesis.
It was ooh. I am talking about Fortnite. That's correct. Fortnite was the spoiler. Real dark horse, man. It came out of nowhere. I've never even heard of this game, and here it comes, just winning all kinds of awards. That threw me off.
Yeah, it's great for such a small indie company to really have that big explosion for your new game. It's
out of nowhere.
It's very heartwarming. It's a good Cinderella story.
Yep.
Nice little. They were like the Rudy of the video game world.
Yep. I wanted Fortnite to dress in my spot. All right, so for our Game Award predictions, we're gonna start with the same categories that we went with the predictions in, and we're gonna go through them all and see where we got it right, which was most of them because we're champions, and where we got it wrong because the judges were wrong.
We weren't wrong. You were wrong.
Exactly. That's the only logical explanation in this. So the first category that we predicted was VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented reality games. We predicted that Beat Saber would win, but we wouldn't have been mad if No Man's Sky had won instead. Beat Saber won. Beat Saber. I mean, Beat Saber is just a fucking banger, though.
It really is, though.
It's so much fun to watch. Like the amount of people that stream it, and the production value that goes into it, and just the entertainment value of the game, just to watch somebody else play, is
it's a solid ass game. Like I've personally don't really do a lot of VR, and I haven't played it, but I'll be damned if watching it is not entertaining as just all sorts of fun times.
Yeah. And and one of the things that I like about it as well is that it's kind of like Clone Hero, in that you can add content to the game. You can map out your own. You can map out there's user generated content.
Right.
You can map out your own songs, add your own custom songs to it.
Yeah, you're not just restricted to whatever they release.
Yeah, I mean they did a hell of a job developing the game. They did a hell of a job making the game, and they left it open for users to fill in the gaps, which I think was a smart move.
And I mean, who doesn't love to fill in a gap, right?
Amen. Next category was strategy game. where we predicted Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem. Well, I should say Dizzle predicted Fire Emblem. I've never heard of most of the other games, and Fire Emblem won. Fire Emblem Three Houses was the winner. So 2 for 2.
Honestly, that wasn't really a surprise there. Now, this next category though,
Yep.
this makes my heart fucking warm. Right?
And we were so sure, we were so confident that FIFA won. And Dizzle, you wanna unveil?
Yeah.
Who won?
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
Mm-hmm. And Dizzle even said, "It will make me moister than an oyster. It would make me so happy. It would make my heart dance."
It would.
If Crash won.
It did. And, you know, I said, you know, because let's be honest, track record, FIFA is pretty much like the greatest selling game of all time ever.
Yeah, not close.
Like, and then I'm thinking to myself, like, super popular. I mean, it's fucking FIFA, right? Like,
yep.
Around most of the world, it's just a top selling, super played game. And then I see Crash Team Racing on there, and in my heart of hearts, I'm like, yes. Like, I would love it because it's such a silly fucking game.
Yep.
That
beautiful.
Like, it's just a cartoony, fun racing game. But I had zero chance for it, and then there it is, the winner.
Yep.
Kersploosh.
Yep. God bless America. So that one, the one that we thought was gonna win did not win, but the one that we wanted to win won. So I'll give us partial credit on that.
Yeah. No.
2.5 out of 3.
Yes. I will take that.
And our next category, score and music. See, this was yeah.
This one was difficult.
Yeah, it was.
In the sense that really only 2 of the games out of all the 2 of the games on this list that were nominated, I personally just didn't feel like the music was like there for me, right? Like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Sayonara Wild Heart. Like, sure, the music was okay, but I didn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a contender for best ever,
right?
Or best of the year,
right? But Devil May Cry 5, Cadence of Hyrule, and Death Stranding were all on that as well. Cadence of Hyrule could have won, and I would have been happy with that.
Yep.
It didn't win, but the whole game's built around music.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 5, music solid as fuck, fits the game to a T. Perfect.
Yeah,
chef's kiss.
And not only that, but the music in Devil May Cry 5 was all metal. Dizzle and I are both metalheads, so seeing like all the music that we love in an awesome badass game while you're blowing shit up and fucking like an action RPG where you're just killing everything.
Right.
Choose some banging ass tunes.
And then you had Death Stranding, where the music, don't get me wrong, music in Death Stranding's phenomenal. Beautiful composition. And in a shocking turn of events, not really that shocking, Death Stranding won.
Yeah, Death Stranding is our winner. So the one that we wanted to win, the one that we thought was going to win was Death Stranding. The one that we wanted to win was DMC5.
Right.
So,
and then also I wouldn't have been mad if Cadence of just because of how.
Yeah, like, Cadence of Hyrule also very well done. RPG. We got wrong. We got really wrong.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I was all in on the Final Fantasy 14 boat. Like, I legitimately was like, you know, much praise as the most recent expansion got, how well they've done building it. Like,
yep.
It's a solid fucking game.
Yep, the most recent expansion's fucking crazy. It's insane.
I knew Kingdom Hearts 3 wouldn't take it. I already knew Outer Wilds, figured that wasn't going to take it.
Monster Hunter World was my bet. That's where my money was.
Right, and again, Monster Hunter World, super popular, supported fantastically by Capcom, and just the community behind it's there. But then Disco Elysium, right? That's kind of like, that was like the dark horse.
Yeah, well, it's a brand new indie studio that put it out.
Right, and that was the dark horse throughout like the whole Game Awards. Like, again, everyone who's played it, playthroughs I've watched and all the stuff I've read about it, everyone loves it. Thinks it's amazing, but I just didn't think it had like that big of a traction to go with it.
Yeah,
and it won, and you know, good on them, man.
Fucking golf clap to them.
Right. Like
I'm
honestly, like I've really enjoyed everything I've seen for that game, and I've thought to myself, man, I might give that a shot. And now I really genuinely might actually try and make time to go give that game a shot.
Hell yeah. So our next category, performance. Well, with this one, we were split on. I wanted Norman Reedus to win because I loved him in Boondock Saints, and Dizzle wanted Mads Mikkelsen to win, and Mads Mikkelsen won.
Dizzle knew Mads Mikkelsen will win because it's fucking Mads Mikkelsen. Like,
yep,
the man is a fantastic actor, no matter what.
He is, and he got his award. My man killed it.
He did.
Yep. So the ongoing game, the winner was
Dizzle's right yet again.
Yeah, the winner was Fortnite, guys. Shocker.
Hey, look at the
to
plus
everyone's
side,
surprise. It was Fortnite.
To your, for you, you should be happy because Apex didn't win. Your whole it's only been out for. So there's that. But yeah, no, I called it. It's kind of
cut out there for a minute, buddy. You said it's only been out for, and then your mouth was moving and there were no words.
Oh, 7 months.
You're right. Well, that's true. Yeah. It should not have even been a contender. I'm glad that it didn't win. Apex is a great game. It's fun to play. I love it. Nothing against it. Shouldn't be an ongoing game.
I didn't think Siege really had a chance. Destiny 2,
no, Siege
really.
was never gonna win. Destiny. I wouldn't have been surprised if Destiny 2 or Final Fantasy 1.
Well,
I really wouldn't have.
That was my big thing was Final Fantasy 14. Like, yeah. I really was like, okay, like, again, just the amount of stuff they've done since launch.
Right.
And basically
same with Destiny
rebuilt
2.
The game. Right.
It's basically the same argument for both of them is that they both put out amazing expansions within the past few months. And they've both been ongoing games for, a couple years now.
Right.
So I wouldn't have been upset to see either one of them win.
But the main argument I had was Fortnite had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people watching a black screen with a black hole on it for days. So
yeah, well, there's that. That did happen.
Yeah,
that's
you're
the
welcome.
Thing. Yep. So then that brings us to narrative here.
Another one that.
Yeah. This did not expect this one for a second. I thought hands down it was going to be Death Stranding or Control, and Disco Elysium took it again.
I was between Control. Like, I honestly thought it was going to be Control or Death Stranding as well, and again, Disco Elysium.
Yeah,
I mean, holy shit! And right now, if we're keeping track, they're sitting on the most wins.
Yeah, Disco Elysium is sitting on more wins than Fortnite so far.
And Death Stranding.
Death Stranding, which I mean, a Kojima game that was all the hype in the world around it. Like since E3, it's just been everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And to get beaten out on narrative by Disco Elysium, which again is a new indie studio that came out this year. That's kind of mind blowing.
Right, like they just showed up. They were like, "Check this bitchin' ass game out we dropped." Oh, by the way, Kojima who?
Oh yeah, never heard of him. Nope. I don't even know what a Norman Reedus is. So for multiplayer game, the my money was on I tell you, my hope was on Tetris, just because a Tetris game making it to being a contender for multiplayer to win the award for the year from the Game Awards.
I mean, that would have been cool as shit, though,
yeah,
right?
like just the fact that you made it this far is the award.
The fact that you've made a multiplayer game out of Tetris.
Yeah, and the fact that it's good and that people are like continually playing it over and over and over again, and that like people that don't really care about Tetris are now playing a fucking Tetris BR. Like the fact that you made that a thing,
right?
Like you
I mean, yeah,
but Apex won.
And honestly, I thought it was gonna be Apex or Call.
Yeah, it was only ever gonna be Apex or Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I want my hope, the dream was on Tetris, just for being that out of place in this genre, and still being that fucking good. Mobile game was absolutely zero surprise at all. Call of Duty Mobile. But
yeah. That was 100%. It literally had more downloads than Fortnite at launch. So
yeah,
shocker.
There was no way that was gonna lose.
Let's just get back to actual real games because mobile.
Mobile games aren't real games unless it's Hearthstone. Hearthstone is the exception.
Oh Jesus!
I said what I said.
All right. So next we have best independent game.
Yep.
And that.
Guess what won, guys?
Disco Elysium.
Yep. Again, I thought Outer Worlds might give it a run for his money, and again, my money was on Goose Game. My money was on Goose Game.
Really?
Honk.
Honk.
Yeah.
I thought Outer Wilds could take it, and yeah, I just honestly Disco Elysium now at 3. They're at 3 on the night, and good again. Like, this is a fucking statement, right? Like, as an indie studio, you drop this title and you just come around and just basically show up and just start picking up awards. Like,
absolutely dropping the dick on the competition in so many different categories now.
They just straight up showed up and made a fucking statement, and they were like, "Yo, we know how to make a fucking game."
Yep.
And then after that, we have Games for Impact.
Yep, which we had, zero opinion on, really.
Well, I mean,
Dizzle thought Greece might win.
I thought Greece might win just because of the fact that that's the only one on this list that I played a little bit of.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, Greece won.
Yep.
So there's that. But that was not a category that we didn't really have a dog in that fight.
Yep. Now, this one, I like to say I called it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yep. I was wrong on this one. Go fuck yourself.
Game direction.
Yep. My money was on Sekiro. I thought Sekiro was going to take it.
Yeah, but see, the full category was just, basically everything behind, introducing new technologies and stuff like that. And that was Death Stranding. And they won.
Death Stranding took it. Yes, they did.
Yep. Which... I think Death Stranding's at 2, which is still not as much as Disco Elysium.
Yeah, Disco Elysium's at 3 wins right now? 3 wins right now.
Yeah.
Until we get to our next category. Fresh indie game.
And honestly, I thought Slay the Spire was going to take it.
Likewise. Or Goose Game. I thought Goose Game had a chance.
I had 0% chance on Goose Game taking it.
I had at least 107% that Goose Game was going to win. I was so sure wrong. That Goose Game was going to take it. I was 107% incorrect.
Yep.
Disco Elysium.
It was Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium won.
And we are now at 4 trophies for Disco Elysium.
4 trophies for Disco Elysium.
God damn.
Brings us to fighting game.
Yeah.
And now we prepare ourselves for Salt Dizzle.
Look, I'm not salty, right? I understand.
Dizzle wanted Samurai Showdown to win.
My heart.
Yep.
Out of the entire category, right, you got Super Smash Bros. Jump Force, which should not have been on this at all. Jump Force at best is a mediocre arena anime fighter, at the very best.
DOA 6 should have taken it.
DOA 6 it's got the
plot.
Yes, all the bouncy, boingy plot.
The jiggle plot. DOA 6
Mortal Kombat 11, which, great, it's Mortal Kombat. It sold a lot and everything, but let's be honest, that one's been a hell of a divisive Mortal Kombat. It's just very... People love it or hate it. It's not,
Well, they changed the combat up a lot in MK11 too. It's a lot slower than what 9 and 10 were.
Well, then it's a little more restricting, and it's just with the character setups and stuff. So
yeah.
And then Samurai Showdown, my heart wanted it to win for the sheer fact that it was kind of a big comeback for SNK. They dropped this title, and
they just didn't have the clout for it.
It's super well received. It's a great game, but it's also a very intimidating. A lot of people were intimidated by it. It's a very fast fight. Not fast in the terms of speed, but fast is you get hit, you're pretty much fucked. So it has a hell of a learning curve. But
so Super Smash Brothers won.
I don't understand how a fighting game, like a non-fighting game, won a fighting game category, but whatever.
Yeah, Smash is not a fighting game, guys. I'm sorry.
I will say
Fight
honestly, I would probably if Samurai Showdown won, I would any title. I would have been disappointed. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Family game.
Yep.
Also known as the Nintendo category.
Yeah, literally every game in this category was Nintendo. So Nintendo won the Nintendo category, guys.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Luigi's
alert.
Mansion 3 won Family Game, which actually surprised me because I genuinely thought it was just going to be Smash Bros. So, yeah, like,
Yep.
good for Luigi's Mansion 3. Good for Nintendo for winning a category that you were the only ones nominated in.
Yep. You did great, guys.
And here's where we get to the stuff where Steele and I pretty much just guessed because we don't know most of this shit.
Oh no! I had very strong opinions on the next couple categories. Esports team.
Oh.
My money was on San Francisco Shock for my boy Sinatra. I thought that San Francisco Shock from Overwatch League was going to be bringing this one home. They did not.
I said Astralis because that's the only name I knew.
Yeah. G2 was esports team of the year. So you know, next category.
Esports player. I was right.
Yeah.
I know shit.
Yep. Esports player of the year, to no one's surprise, was Booga, the winner of the Fortnite tournament.
Fortnite World Cup.
What the fuck ever.
Solo champion of Fortnite World.
My money was on Sinatra.
Best
I wanted
Fortnite
Sinatra to bring
player
it home.
in the world.
I wanted Sinatra to bring it home. But Booga was kids like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And won what the guy I want to say it was like $3 million.
Yeah, it's quite a few million.
Yeah, he won multiple millions of dollars in a Fortnite tournament, guys. So I guess with that, he is our esports player of the year. But he's still no Sinatra, Mr. 150K himself. Just saying.
So this next one I actually did have opinion on. I'm genuinely surprised.
Yeah, esports host.
Shocks took it.
Is it Shocks? I thought it was Sioux. Sioux?
Whatever.
Yeah.
SJOKZ.
Not Golden Boy won.
Not Golden Boy won, right?
Someone who wasn't Golden
thought
Boy.
It was gonna be.
Yeah, we thought it was. It's Shocks. Okay, it is Shocks.
I thought it was gonna be Golden Boy just for the sheer fact of all the stuff he's been on, like all the Fortnite World Cup stuff he did.
He's everywhere.
He literally is kind of everywhere. But then on top of that, he also had he does the fucking. I mean, come on, he does a TV show with The Rock.
His name is Golden Boy.
Right.
But no.
But Shocks won. Shocks. Shocks.
Shocks.
So esports game of the year
threw us off.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were both expecting Fortnite. I was hoping, deep down, against hope that Overwatch was going to pull it out. Yeah. They did not. It was League of Legends.
Which I feel like we say we're surprised, but honestly, I don't see why we are. Like, I feel like League of Legends is just kind of like the esports game, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's always there. There's a League of Legends and Dota. I mean, neither one of us are MOBA guys. So like we don't really follow League or Dota. But I would have loved to see Overwatch win it. I wouldn't have. We thought Fortnite was gonna win it because Fortnite.
Right.
But no, League of Legends brought it home.
And the next one we were also both completely wrong on.
Yep.
Esports event.
Yeah.
I was pretty goddamn sure the Fortnite World Cup was going to take it. Like I wanted Evo to win. I knew it didn't have a chance, but I would have loved to see Evo win.
If Evo had won, you would never have heard the end of it.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Dizzle would have been. You couldn't peel him off the fucking ceiling if Evo had won an esports event.
It's so good.
And I was the exact same way with the Overwatch Grand Finals at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
That was my hope. That was my dream, and it was my disappointment because League of Legends won.
League of Legends World Championship won. You know what it is? Isn't it League of Legends the one that has like they do like the augmented reality like waifu dancing at, like their opening ceremonies.
Do they? Because
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been useful information when we were making predictions.
You know what? Now that I think about it, that's totally because of that.
Yeah, 100%. That is the only reason that anybody watches that.
And then next one, East Coach. So I was right on the selection.
Yep.
But I don't know any of these coaches, and the only reason I picked I liked it.
You cut out again there, buddy.
Oh, I said the only reason I picked Zonic,
Yep.
the winner, is just because I liked his hair.
Yeah.
The picture they had, I liked his haircut, and I was like, you know what? He's got nice hair.
Yep. I don't remember who I picked because I don't know any of these people.
The next category, I don't understand.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Doesn't make any sense to me. The content creator of the year. Just to recap this real quick, guys. The contenders were Shroud, Greffig, who never heard of, Ewok, Dr. Lupo, Courage, and Dr. Lupo.
Right. But like the content creator of the year, the whole category, for positive impact in like the esports and gaming world and all that stuff. And like when you think of the list, like the only one that really jumps in my head as like having the most positive impact is
Dr. Lupo.
It's somehow Shroud one.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And I love Shroud. I love watching Shroud. I just don't understand based on the category's description how Shroud won.
Yeah, I've watched more Shroud than I've watched anybody else in this category by a long shot. I love Shroud's stream. I love watching him play. I loved watching him in Cloud9. I loved watching him in PUBG. I love watching him in Tarkov. I love watching him in Apex. I love watching him in everything. But how he won Content Creator of the Year blows my fucking mind. How Ewok didn't beat him blows my mind. How Dr. Lupo didn't just destroy this category.
It blows my mind.
It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't know.
Like off of Dr. Lupo's Guardian Con performance alone, where he raised what, like $900,000?
Is over $950,000.
$950,000 in a 4-hour block.
But it's just like the whole thing I went off of the fact that it's positive impacts in the communities and all that stuff, and it was just like, dude, like multiple times throughout the year, Dr. Lupo's constantly raising money for different charities and organizations, and like positive impacts in the community. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. But Shroud won, so that happened, and that's a thing. The next category makes no sense at all.
Really?
Yeah, community support. Destiny 2 won.
I mean, they've done a really good job supporting, though.
Over the past couple months since they split from Activision, sure. But, like, the rest of the year, no.
Yeah.
It just... No.
I don't know. Like, I wanted Final Fantasy 14 to win. I thought Fortnite would win. Destiny 2 won. Like, I
didn't think Fortnite would win this one. For community support?
It was for, like, communication between the developers and the community and, like, support of the game and stuff like that. And, Destiny 2's done a lot recently since they went free-to-play and broke away from Activision. Bungie broke away from Activision and everything. Like, their support's been phenomenal.
I will say that the Destiny's devs are very active on Twitter.
Yeah. And, yeah, they have a weekly, like, I mean, I could see Destiny, like, personally, I was like, I could see Destiny 2 winning it. I genuinely thought it was going to be Final Fantasy 14. I picked Fortnite because it's Fortnite.
Yeah.
So. Oh, well.
Yep. So,
audio design. Looks like your boy was right.
I don't see how. Like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, but like
because the guns sound like guns, bro.
It sounds just like every other Call of Duty game. Like Call of Duty has always had good audio design, sure, but like it's pretty typical of any other first-person shooter.
Yeah, like Call of Duty and Gears. To me, Call of Duty, Gears, and Sekiro all kind of should have been the outliers on audio design, right? Like,
yeah.
Call of Duty and Gears sound great, but it's more Call of Duty and Gears.
Yeah, like they don't sound any different than previous iterations of the game.
Sekiro sounds great in the audio, and it's pretty awesome, but I just don't see how it could have really beaten the other three in the category, which were Resident Evil 2 Remake, Death Stranding, and Control.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 Remake's audio quality is just phenomenal, right? Like, I mean, the fact of hearing just the echoing footsteps, the growls and like little gargles of the fucking zombies and monsters chasing you, like
it's hard to nail that. It's hard to get like like scary sounds like that right.
It's hard to nail it and actually have it sound creepy and scary.
Yeah, like it's easy to overdo it and have it sound fucking goofy.
Right. But it was done so well, and it just, to me, was really, really awesome.
Like what was Outlast is one that the audio was goofy as fuck. Like the game was scary with the jump scares and everything, but like the audio was just not at all. It didn't lend to the game being scary. Like you could play the game. The game was probably scarier if you played it with the audio off.
Right.
I mean, and you know, I got the shit scared out of me in Outlast, but it was never because of audio.
Yeah, no, the audio in Resident Evil really played into the fear of that for me. Like, it was really well done. The audio and Control, again, for me, it's really well done. Everything sounds good. The weapons sound good. Everything to that effect. But then when you get into like even just kind of roaming around in the game, you hear like in the background, you're constantly hearing like little ghosts and the stuff from like the different kind of the alternate dimension stuff, like in your ears, like in the background. And it's faint sometimes, and it just grows. Like, it really plays into kind of the uneasiness and the supernatural elements of that game.
Yep.
And a lot of that goes the same with Death Stranding. Like, the audio in Death Stranding is really good. Like, really, really good.
Yep.
And then Call of Duty wins it. Like, don't get me wrong, they nail the shit out of gunplay and all that stuff, explosions, but
like, there's really only two sounds to the game. There's a gun shooting and a bomb going off. So, like,
it's just, yeah. I mean, in all fairness, all these games had really good audio design. It just, I don't know. It's, to me, I feel like Control, Death Stranding, and Resident Evil 2 Remake definitely had a much higher build in terms of like an actual, like, the audio is like really accompanying and assisting the world building.
Yeah. Audio was a much bigger deal for games like that, and They all nailed it. And audio is pretty straightforward for a shooter, and they also nailed it. So I don't know. I feel like
yeah. I mean,
it's just kind of silly.
Yeah, I definitely thought out of all these games, it should have been. I would have been happy with Control, Death Stranding, or Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
But
Call of Duty won. So
Call of Duty won.
Yeah. So art direction.
I was like to say I was right.
Yep. My money was on Sekiro or Death Stranding.
My money was on Control because the game is just the design of the game is fantastic. And like I said, with how they do the way the building shifts and the design of kind of like the astral plane and even just the small shit down to like your weapon when you switch the weapon type and you see the individual little pieces of your gun just morph and switch, and none of it's actually connected. So even when you ADS in the game, you see on the weapon the little cubes that it's made out of are slightly separated and floating, and it's just everything from...
It looks cool as shit.
Yeah, like I mean, it's
that's the short version of it. Is it looks fucking cool.
So well done.
Yeah, they did a great job, and it looked really fucking cool. I just thought the Sekiro was better.
Sekiro had its moments, but it felt like just like a lot of FromSoft games do. They have quite a few moments where it's like just fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but for the most part, a lot of it's pretty straightforward. Still gorgeous map designs and world building, but it's...
Well, the thing that I liked about Sekiro, as opposed to other from games, is that it wasn't just like a dark castle with some torches and shit. Like it was like it looked like it was just like the landscape in some of the scenes was. It was
brighter. It was more colorful.
Yeah, which I mean, which is to my knowledge, that's their first venture like toward using that side of the color palette.
Yeah, for the most part. Souls game, most of the Dark Souls games are all pretty
blacks and grays and browns and like some dark greens and shit.
Yeah, and there's like golds and reds and stuff, but
yeah,
not.
But now there was like
fields of flowers
pink and yeah,
right.
like when you're thinking of fucking like when you're thinking of Dark Souls, like you're not picturing like meadows and shit.
No.
So I thought it was cool to see him head that direction with Sekiro, and I thought they did a fucking phenomenal job with it.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that, but they nailed the shit out of Sekiro. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. And it actually kind of left us surprised on one of them. But so next one you got is action adventure game.
Yep.
So category in this was pretty solid, right? Like
this is where I had my vengeance.
Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, I didn't think would take it. Borderlands 3, I didn't think would take it.
No.
Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2 remake, I thought were, and then there's the fourth and the last in the category was Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. So between Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2 remake, and Sekiro, any of those four could have won and been fine. Death Stranding more for the adventure side of the action adventure portion. Sekiro won, and you know what? Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Like,
goddamn right. Finally.
That is a hell of a fucking game. The action in it's great. The world exploration's fantastic. It's like we were just saying when we were talking about the art stuff. Like, it's a beautiful world to explore, and they did a really good job. It's just kind of building that and making you think like, like I'm just gonna murder these dudes real quick
and look at shit.
But now I want to go look at these pretty flowers that I just chopped but then I'm gonna go chop these dudes' heads off. And I'll come back and look at these pretty flowers some more.
Yes, it's beautiful.
But no, it's a fucking great game. I played the shit out of it and I loved it. Yep. In fact, I've actually pretty much loved every title that was on this list. Oh, except for Borderlands 3, it was alright. It was Borderlands.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, I love the original. I didn't play the remake. I didn't like the style. Resident Evil 2 remake, I thought was fucking phenomenal. Control, I thought was phenomenal. Death Stranding, I haven't really played enough into it to form a huge opinion on, but what I have played, it's solid. But Sekiro, good shit.
Which brings us to action game. You got some opinions on this one there, buddy?
I mean, the right game won. We'll start with that. The only game... Well, there was two games in this category that I was 100% okay with winning, and that was either Devil May Cry 5 or Astral Chain, because as far as I'm concerned, those were the only two legitimate action games in this category.
But Dizzle, Metro Exodus is an action game.
Yeah, action adventure, maybe. Gears 5 and Call of Duty, yes, there's action in them, but I mean they're fucking shooters, right? Like there's no like.
Well, same with Apex.
Right, and Apex. As far as I'm concerned, an action game is Devil May Cry, Astral Chains, Nier Automata is like your fucking semi beat 'em up, just
like the hack and slash type, or even like the Darksiders games.
Yeah,
like Darksiders 2 and 3, or like hack and slash, like action game, like action RPGs.
you could say, well, Apex and Call of Duty and Gears are action games. No, they have action in them.
But they're shooters.
Yes, but
they're FPSs.
Right. Metro Exodus is... I have no fucking idea why that's on this category. Because while a great game, it's definitely more of an exploratory, like, action-adventure game. Like, there is shooting and some FPS stuff in it, but that's not kind of the main point of the game. But Devil May Cry 5 won, so it doesn't really matter, because...
You cut out there for a second again there, buddy.
Devil May Cry 5 won, so it doesn't matter. All these other games can get fucked.
I'm stoked as shit to see DMC win. The game was absolutely fucking hilarious. It was hilarious. It was beautiful. The music was fucking on point. Everything about it was just sexually arousing.
It was pure action from jump.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of went to solidify this whole last couple, like, year and a half, almost 2 years of Capcom's, like, kind of
climb to glory.
It's like the apology tour, right? As a lot of people like, because they dropped Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and that was just a fucking trash can. But then they hit this apology tour and dropped Monster Hunter World and with fucking Devil May Cry 5 and just the support they've been giving the games. And it's like, like when the dude accepted the trophy for it and he said, Devil May Cry 5 and Capcom's back. And like, or Devil May Cry is back and Capcom's back. And I was like, fuck yeah, they are. Like, give me more.
Yep. You love to see it. I love to see a game studio coming out and just absolutely fucking crushing it, like putting out quality games that are just well done across the fucking board that people love to play.
Well, that and the fact that they just had so many issues with game releases anyway. Like they were just not dropping good quality shit, and then they finally seemed to pull their heads out of their asses and just started dropping gold.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter
dropping
World,
dick. They were just swinging it.
You can't swinging it low. Monster Hunter World is a solid fucking game.
Yeah.
And it's a very popular, well-supported game. People love it. And that was like Capcom's first big, like, hey.
Guess who's back?
And people were kind of like, holy shit, this is really fucking good.
Yep.
And then they were like, oh, BT Dubs at E3, they were like, check this shit out. Devil May Cry 5 teaser. I just everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like that scene from Scary Movie, man.
Oh god.
I was plastering shit to the walls.
Yep.
And then I played it. Good lord.
Yep.
So good. And it deserves. Whew. And then finally, we're to the very final category here.
Yep.
Game of the year.
Yep. And I wanted it to win. I didn't expect it to win.
No, I don't think many people did. The lineup for Game of the Year is really actually pretty solid, right? The only one on here, the only game on here that I did not think belonged was The Outer Worlds.
There are a couple I didn't think belonged on here. I didn't think that Smash belonged on here. Because it's just another Smash game. They're all rehashes of previous Smash games.
They did do different things with the game, but on top of that, just on terms of sales alone, and just how well the game was done, like it was
But if it's only going off sales, or if sales are even a large factor, why isn't FIFA on the list?
Because FIFA sucks. It got beat by Crash Team Racing. Get fucked, FIFA.
Both true. But I don't think that's a good enough reason to
honestly,
for Smash to make
Smash
the cut.
They needed a representative from Nintendo, and Smash.
Okay, well, that makes more sense. Outer Worlds could have made the cut. I'd have been fine with that. I don't think Smash should have been on the list, and I don't think Resident Evil 2 should have been on the list.
But why though?
Because it's a remake.
No, it's a remake. It's not a remaster. So the game itself is completely different than the original.
It's still a remake. It's a game that's already been out, And I'll make
Not if
I will make this same argument next year when Final Fantasy VII is on this same list.
I mean, you can, but if it's different, I mean, it's essentially a new game. Like, you're adding content that didn't exist, and you're going into the game. You're learning more about the game, like the lore and the story of the game itself, and how like it was a different game.
But it's a different take on the same story, though. And to me, that's not enough for it to be considered as game of the year. Like I said, next year when Final Fantasy VII is inevitably on the list and probably wins,
it won't even be on the game. It won't even be at the Game Awards.
You don't think Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be on the Game Awards?
February 22nd, 2020, Square Enix has a conference and they announce Final Fantasy VII Remake will be delayed.
Don't you toy with my emotions like that, sir. I've had this shit
till
pre-ordered
3/3/2021.
No.
It will be delayed until the PlayStation 5 release.
You shut your blasphemous whore mouth, sir. You don't fuck with me in Final Fantasy VII, man. Come on.
I'm gonna feel really bad if that actually happens.
I will literally kill people.
I'm gonna feel really bad if, like...
Don't you fucking put that evil out in the world. Don't even speak it out loud. Don't make that a thing. Don't put that into the universe. Because the universe will take it and run with it and fuck me with it.
I would laugh incessantly. Like, honestly, I'd probably die from laughing. But goddamn.
No. You stop that shit.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
All right. So
Sekiro won. By the way, game of the year. Sekiro won.
I see your argument for Resident Evil 2. Smash again. Outer Worlds I don't think belonged. It was kind of a short Fallout game. So whatever. Smash. Yeah, I could see the argument for that not belonging. Resident Evil 2, same thing. Death Stranding, Control, and Sekiro. I think were all solid contenders.
Yeah.
I genuinely
it could have gone to any one of those three and I'd have been fine.
Yeah, I thought Control. I was hoping Control would win. I was pretty sure Death Stranding would take it.
I 100% thought Death Stranding was going to take it.
But Sekiro,
off hype alone, I thought Death Stranding was going to take it, and then to see it deliver on even most of the hype, I thought Death Stranding was going to take it.
Sekiro won, and you know what? Not mad.
Yep, not at all.
And the funny thing is that it was like a day or two before the Game Award aired, IGN released that Control won their Game of the Year. And I was laughing because I had messaged Steel after I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, Control won IGN's Game of the Year. They're not winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards."
Yep.
But I mean, you love to see it, right? Like, and
well, that's From's first Game of the Year too, isn't it?
First Game of the Year winner at the Game Awards, yeah. Which is surprising because honestly, I still think Bloodborne's probably the superior From title.
Mechanically, sure. Artistically, I think Sekiro's got to beat out.
Well, mechanically and story-wise, I think Bloodborne is the superior title.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Lovecraft lore, so yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with you storyline-wise, of course.
But no, Sekiro's. I mean, again, super fucking awesome. Like, well made. My entire playthrough of the game, I think I experienced maybe one like bug like that kind of stopped my progress in the game. The game was fucking gorgeous.
And you played it when it first came out.
I played it on launch.
Yeah, which I mean, like to be a game that plays at that level, like a Souls-like game. Mm-hmm. So it has to be mechanically precise. Like when you're looking at like iframes and shit for.
I think this one more so because the way the combat system is built in this game is a lot more. It's a lot less dodge heavy, like your Souls games and stuff.
Yeah,
and like your Bloodborne.
There's a lot of staggering.
Yeah, you're building up a stagger gauge on your enemies. This is a lot of parrying and.
So the timing's got to be perfect, and for them to be able to deliver that kind of precision on launch is super impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and again, just the traversal that they like. The whole hand hook, kind of like grappling hook system they had in there. The speed of the game was it was nice. Like, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be like play as fast as it did, and I think in terms of gameplay, I enjoyed Sekiro more than I enjoyed Bloodborne. In terms of story, I enjoyed Bloodborne. In terms of world, I definitely enjoyed Sekiro.
Yeah.
Like, that whole enemy design, world design, like everything about it just fucking was
But there were no tentacle monsters in Sekiro.
I mean, I do love a good tentacle monster.
I know you do.
So sexy. Nothing sexier than a slimy tentacle slip thigh.
Ooh, spicy. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the Game Awards predictions recap, guys. So with that, boys and girls, we're gonna get right into Dizzles and my thoughts on our Darksiders Genesis playthrough. And Dizzle, you want to start us off?
Worst fucking game ever made, man.
Yep.
Jesus,
absolute horrible.
So trash. It's so bad that it makes CS:GO good.
Yeah, it basically makes CS:GO look like Game of the Year. It makes CS:GO look like Sekiro.
Said no one ever.
It was amazing. I loved the game. I loved it so much.
Fucking fantastic.
So much fun to play. I don't usually like top-down dungeon crawlers like that at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big fan of Diablo. I'm not a big fan of Path of Exile. I just don't like that. I don't like that point of view. I don't like that play style. But there is an exception in my heart.
For Darksiders.
For Darksiders. To me, like, Darksiders is the top-down dungeon crawlers what Paragon was to MOBAs. It was my exception to the rule.
Yeah, no, it honestly kind of from jump, right? Like I'm already a big fan of the Darksiders series in general.
Yeah, the gameplay is always on point. Storyline.
I love the art style.
The art style is fantastic. Because it looks like a fucking graphic novel. Like the cutscenes are all like graphic novel style, and they look fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm just talking Darksiders in general. As a complete series, yeah. I mean, the art style is really solid. The gameplay on each game's been varied enough with each horseman. The kind of twist on the lore of like the apocalypse and all the four horsemen and heaven and hell and Shard Council, all that other crazy like that.
Nephilim, Eden, all that shit.
Like, it's such a cool, to me, it's a fun, like, just makes me think of like early, like late 80s, early 90s comic books, like just action, fucking jacked heroes and just shit getting ripped apart and explosions, and it's like, fuck yeah. Like, it's just fun.
Yep. Well, the thing that I liked about Genesis specifically, especially toward the end, is when they kind of gave you some hints at when it happened chronologically. Was that it's basically like what happened like on the supernatural side of the story of creation.
Yeah.
Like they went into the whole like they tell you basically that this is what happens during like the fall of man.
Alert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's kind of the whole yes. Spoiler alert is in effect, guys. But like they tell you about the whole like the supernatural back end of what happened during the fall of man, like with Lucifer and the Garden of Eden and people getting kicked out and all that kind of shit. Yeah, Fat Dog, you might want to mute this. But it's super fucking interesting. It's a really cool take on the story. And like their whole like the whole way that they like their like side of the lore basically is it's just a really interesting take.
Yeah. And you know, from the get-go on the game itself, right? Like one thing I really always enjoyed about the Darksiders games, and it even carries over to Genesis. Like, so you got Darksiders 1, which was definitely more of kind of like we'll say closer to like a Legend of Zelda type of game, right? Like, had some action, definitely had some but a lot of puzzles and like dungeoning. You got Darksiders 2, where you played as Death, which
Yep.
Definitely was more RPG, a little larger open world. You know, you had a gear system and stuff, and that was kind of fun. And then you had Darksiders 3, which played more akin to, say, a Souls-like kind of action game, right? A little more difficult.
Definitely more difficult. I'd say it was a lot more difficult than Darksiders.
Oh yeah, it's easily the hardest of the three. But then, but each game's been built to kind of to each horseman's, like each horseman being so different from each other. Each game has been different enough to kind of play into that, which is for me was really nice. And then you got Genesis, which being the first one in the series, it's a top-down action game.
And the first one was multiplayer.
Yeah, and also the first one with Strife, the fourth horseman, as a playable character. Because you meet Strife, you hear of him mentioned in the other game, him in Darksiders 3 for a quick, albeit badass moment. Yeah, but it's a quick, hey, here's Strife. Watch him do some fucking badass shit, and then no more Strife.
Yeah, well, you don't find out that it's Strife until the very end of Darksiders 3. Right.
And then he does some badass shit, and you see him for a couple seconds, and you're like, God, that was dope.
Yep.
So Genesis starts off, and just, again, like all the other games, drops you right into the fucking action. Yep. And I love it.
Yep.
And
they don't waste any time. They're like, you're here to fuck some shit up, so here you go. There's some shit, go fuck it up.
The maps are large for each kind of area. They're pretty large, nice little exploration areas.
Well, it seemed like they got progressively larger as you got further along in the story. The first couple maps were pretty small, and then toward the end of the game, you started getting into some damn near open world kind of stuff almost. Like
especially
the desert map at the very end.
Yeah, was actually that huge. One we actually had to use our horses.
Yeah, for most of the game you don't have to use the horse at all.
You can. Yeah, it's a great option. But.
Yep. But you're never really on it for more than a couple seconds to get from A to B. But then toward the end of the game, you have to actually start using it to be more time efficient.
But it throws you right in, and Stea1e and I co-opted the whole game.
Yep.
I ran the game as Strife. He played through as War, which are the only two playable characters in this one. The banter between Strife and War, is phenomenal.
Strife is well. First off, there were more than a couple times at the in the banter of the game where Strife would make funny little cracks and shit at War or at War's expense, and we realized that Strife and Dizzle were basically the same person. Basically, picture Strife as a Deadpool. Strife is basically Deadpool. He's got
minus the fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, but he's got guns. He's cocky. He's a smart mouth, and he's just funny as shit.
Yeah, and it's funny too because War is very War, right? Like he's just he's not a thinker.
No, he's a straightforward. He's basically like an archetype. He's just like the honorable, duty-bound soldier. And then there's Strife, who is the dare I say he comes across as kind of a merc with a mouth.
And it's kind of the funny thing too is War in Darksiders lore and everything. War is the youngest brother. He's the youngest of the horsemen, so he's like the little brother.
Yep.
So it makes it even better because it's like his.
He talks like he's the older brother, though.
Right. So War is he's the younger brother. But he's very serious, and it's our duty and the council and blah 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 blah. Then Strife's a little bit older, and he's just kind of like,
fuck it, let's go fuck some shit up.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
But and it's kind of great to. And that was one thing that I've always enjoyed. The other Darksiders games was kind of like the interaction of the horsemen with different characters in the world, right? Like, and each horseman's very different. in their personalities, but to have this entire game where it's two horsemen for the most part interacting and bantering back and forth, two completely different horsemen, it was super serious. And then for the people who haven't played it or really experienced Darksiders games, if you've watched like Deadpool, the Deadpool movie or Deadpool 2, it's kind of like Deadpool and Colossus interacting, right?
Yeah. Yep,
like
that's exactly
War's very Colossus in the sense of honor and duty, and this is what we need to do. And then there's Deadpool, who's just kind of like, yeah, we could, or we could kind of do it this way too.
And we could do it. We could do it the straight up and serious and honorable way, or we could fuck with them a little bit.
And like Strife also kind of, for people, he's kind of like has a little Cade 6 thrown in there. He's a little like,
absolutely.
He's like a Cade 6 Deadpool kind of little mishmash. It works really well for that character.
And as great as the voice acting was for Strife, I would not have been upset to hear him voiced by Nathan Fillion.
No, it would have been solid, but
I think or Ryan Reynolds. Acting, Ryan Reynolds would have been an acceptable substitute.
the voice actor for Strife did really, really well.
Yeah.
But just the banter between those two, and then how those two would have their arguments or their moments where they were just kind of being like back and forth with each other, but then another character, so Samael or Volgrim or another character in some conversations would chime in, and then they would both like team up against that person and just start bantering and like talking shit to that person together.
Yep.
It was hilarious because War's version of talking shit is completely different than Strife's.
War's version of talking shit was basically, all right, well, we're gonna fucking kill you.
Right. He was like, I will just, I'll step on your skull and
like I will grind you to dust.
Oh, okay. So I mean,
and then there was there was Cade 6 Strife / Deadpool who would say like, well, I'm just gonna stick a bunch of firecrackers up your ass and light them on fire and watch you dance until you die.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah. So same general tone conveyed, but just different approaches.
See, the other thing too was not only just how they played off each other and like their banter, but with Strife, and this kind of being the first game with Strife and learning, and the other thing too is where it takes place in the timeline. You're learning more about like the backstory of some of the Nephilim and kind of the horsemen and where they come from, because this is kind of like
it's the origin story.
This is still like early outings for them as horsemen.
Yeah.
Like you're finding out, okay, they accepted the council's power, and yes, in the Darksiders lore, the horsemen are Nephilim who accepted like the council's power, but then ended up kind of one of the things they had to do was they murdered the rest of their race. Like they caused the genocide of all the other Nephilim.
And for those of you guys that are unfamiliar, Nephilim are the bastard love children of angels and demons. They kind of created their own race based off of that origin. They were living up in Eden, and then
with the humans.
Yeah, with the humans, and then the council came in and talking about preserving the balance. They picked four of the Nephilim to be the horsemen, the four strongest ones, or strongest in different aspects. And then they said, all right, well, the rest of the Nephilim got to go. So the four horsemen were tasked with eradicating the Nephilim. And then you actually go to Eden in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some pretty interesting dialogue with Strife specifically, where he's kind of like reliving what they had to do to eliminate their race.
And you can kind of see that he's still very kind of like sort of torn up about it. Like he hides it. Like he's the smart ass like fun character, but then like as the game goes, you can kind of see some of the items you run into, like with one of the boss fights in particular, there's an item that he sees that kind of triggers a memory for him, and he gets kind of like down, and Ward tries to get the information, and he's just kind of like, no, shut up, fuck off, like we'll just keep pushing on. And then they get to Eden, and the same thing. There's where you can see Strife is actually like questioning, like why did we shit? Like we murdered our entire race of people. And before you find out Strife, before he even became kind of like the assassin horseman, he was an assassin. Like, he killed people.
Yep.
That's like what he did before he even became a horseman. He killed people. So it's not like he has a hard time killing people. It's just now he feels like he's like you start to realize, like, man, like, what the fuck did I like accept and what I do? Of course, War, being his super duty bound brother, though, was like, you shouldn't question the count. Like, and that's where you kind of see that's where they really differ. Is even though Strife's questioning this, War is still like, bro, like, no, like, we have a duty. Like, this is what we need to do. Council is, and
War's stance on it is basically like the council's job is to maintain the balance between good and evil, and we're basically their executioners. Like, our job is to be the long arm of the law to maintain the balance. If one side starts getting too much sway, we go drop the dick on him and keep him in check. And Strife's big thing on it is because he used to just pretty much just kill indiscriminately, but he was still choosing to do it. And now that he's being used as a weapon, he wants to know why. He's fine with still killing everybody, but he wants to know why he's being told to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about the killing, because he even said in that conversation, I've killed plenty of times before, but and he actually did say it was all what like, my choice. Like, I'm the one who made the choice to either take that contract or not, like to make that kill or not make that kill. And I think that's his big thing. He doesn't, like you were saying, he doesn't like having that choice taken away. Whereas War is just kind of like, okay, tell me where I go smash.
Basically, yeah.
And it's funny to see that, because obviously this taking before all the other games and before kind of shit hits the fan in Darksiders 1, and the apocalypse and all that stuff happens, and all that stuff happens. And even when you meet Strife in Darksiders 3, you can see he's very much the same kind of Strife, questioning things, but he's almost like even more so just kind of gotten to the point where he's like, I need to get back to making my own choices and not like, this council shit's fucked up.
And this is all by way of saying, like, the short version basically is the character development across the story arc for the Horsemen is really good. So fucking well written. It's so good. Like that. Yeah. Because Darksiders 3 just came out last year, and then Darksiders Genesis just came out. It just came out last 2 weeks ago now. So it was really cool to see them kind of like go back in time and develop, and to kind of plant the seed for Strife's personality, so that when you play Darksiders 3, like Dizzle was just describing here, it makes sense to see him how he is later on in the timeline in Darksiders 3, but to see where he started out at in the prequel of Genesis.
Right.
So I mean, I think the story writing and the character development was definitely very well done, and
that kind of carries over with all the enemies too.
Yeah, because some of the main characters that you see in the game are you finally see the origin of Volgrim and everything, and Samael's another one that pops up more throughout the series, and then and then Lilith and Lucifer as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the games that and it didn't feel forced. Like, none of what they did felt like a kind of a forced in between prequel game or anything like that. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're just gonna try and put something together real quick. Like, it all fit really well. And then again, character is huge. Like, you get this even for like the villains, which, I mean, there's a villain, right? There's bad guys in Darksiders, but it's not who you really think it is. And like, characters that you're interacting with, and like, be it some of the demons or angel characters and stuff like that, like, just to see them either before you've encountered them in the other games, and how they are in some of the other games, like Darksiders 1 and 2 and stuff. And you're like, holy shit, because now, like, at this point in time in the game, they're a completely different kind of character, but you can see them already starting to teeter towards kind of the change, or what's kind of how they're going to carry over. And when you finally like Abaddon, when you finally meet him in Darksiders 1. and Samael again. It's just like, damn it, you fucking did it. You made me give a shit.
Yep. Now, as far as gameplay goes,
use a controller.
Yeah, definitely play with a controller. It's far smoother with a controller. And there were very few bugs. There was one or two significant bugs, but for the most part they were graphical bugs, or like the subtitles, at the very least for player 2. Dizzle was hosting the matches, and I was and he'd send me the invite to join the lobby. There were some graphical bugs where the subtitles down at the bottom would be kind of out of order with the voice acting.
Oh, I had that too.
Oh, okay. So that was on both sides. I kind of just assumed that was on my side. But there were some minor graphical bugs like that. The biggest gameplay bug that we found was the with player 2, or it may have been war related rather than who was hosting the game. The portal's not working. There were a couple different times where I wouldn't be able to go through the portals. That one of Strife's abilities was to use these purple glowy balls to create portals, and Dizzle could jump through them, and I wasn't able to. So we don't know whether or not that was related to me playing as War or me playing as player 2. But that's something to keep an eye out for.
And I'm trying to a couple of hiccups here and there, like we might get stuck on a rock.
Yeah.
But that was actually pretty. Like, I know at one point Steel got stuck on between two little rocks, and
mounting and dismounting was able to clear that up, though. It took a second, but
yeah.
And then going from as soon as we finished chapter 4, we finished up chapter 4 on the second night, or no, that might have been the first night. Yeah, we finished up chapter 4. And there was the whole game crashed for both of us, which only happened the once.
We had 2 total crashes.
Did we? When was the second one?
The second one was my game crashed. We were in a boss fight.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So my game crashed.
There was one time where we both crashed, and then he crashed. Mm-hmm. He crashed separately once, and I crashed separately once.
The only big crash we had was the one after after we beat chapter 4, and it was the Unreal. It was like the Unreal Engine crashed.
Yeah,
and we were like, "Oh, okay."
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah. But I think that was the only hard crash where the whole thing crapped out. Which, I mean, again, for a game that had only been out for about 3 days at the time, to have one game crash was definitely not the end of the world. And we relaunched it, came back in, and everything worked fine right away.
Oh yeah, no, it was no. I mean, the only thing that was like, oh, it crashed out, and then as soon as I clicked on play game, it launched right back up. So
yeah, and then we were able to jump back in and get back to everything without any kind of issues.
Well, then that plays into the save system of the game. So there's a lot of the auto save in the game, and it actually is a really, really frequent auto save, which is nice because it's not. There's some games where it auto saves, but only when you hit certain points of a map or anything like that. Like, this seemed to auto save pretty frequently,
almost constantly.
It was almost after every count or anything like that. It was like, oh, cool, save.
Yeah, so it's really hard to lose progress in the game, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
We ended up we ended up playing through the whole campaign, and we did most of the arenas.
We did about half the arenas.
Was it only half?
Yeah, we still have we never did the endless arena. We still have the big arenas at the end.
Okay. Yeah, so we played through. We played through about half the arenas.
There's 20 arenas total. We did about 10 of them.
Okay. The arenas are pretty fun, actually. It's basically just a hack and slash, beat 'em up, kill everything, horde mode, basically. But as far as the characters go, there's Strife is the Strife. Well, Strife's the only one that has any kind of ranged attack at all. War doesn't have any ranged attacks. But and then but War is all close mate. That's hard. Close range melee attacks. And but to compensate for that, War's got a lot more health, and the well, yeah, okay, yeah, War does have the shuriken, but that's, you can't really use that mid combat. That's more of a puzzle mechanic.
Yeah, it's not like a really damage dealer.
Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It's more to, you use it to like light torches to unlock stuff, or to hit crystals to unlock stuff. In our playthrough, it was only ever used for puzzles, not for any kind of damage. But War has a lot more health. He's a much tankier, which, I mean, you kind of guess just looking at the guy. But
Right.
really, his only two War's only two useful builds are he's got the blood build, which is it's vampire leeching. So as you beat stuff up, you recover health. And then he's got his super high damage AoE build, which is off the death tree, where you put the mark of death on somebody, and then you kill them, and then it blows up and spreads to everybody that in a small area.
Yeah,
so then
like
you kill
the death herpes.
And it's great.
It's
It's a very high risk, high reward damage build, because you can kill everything really quickly, but you take a whole lot of damage that way.
It's great if you're playing co-op. Like if you have a person you're playing with and they're playing Strife, and Strife's running Palpatine mode.
Yeah. Oh god,
Like,
that's beautiful.
The fucking chain lightning and the of death from War combined is just, oh my god, just beautiful explosions of death everywhere.
It's so good. Yeah, if you combine the two with both of their high AoE builds, everything dies almost immediately. Which works great if there's a bunch of small mobs. If there's any big boys in there,
Yeah, then it gets,
it can get dicey. Because even though you're dishing out a whole lot of AoE damage and splash damage, if they get a couple hits in on you, somebody's getting fucked up pretty quick.
it's true. Strife's builds are pretty straightforward. Like I ran the game with his guns for the most part. Is just his starting primary weapon, his dual pistols, and then his secondary fire I had as the lightning, the chain lightning, the Palpatine mode, as I like to call it, because
And it was good.
this shit just rocked the fuck out of, like, especially when you get into Strife's kind of like his Deadeye mode. So once you hit you score enough target hits with your guns, just gets kind of like a boost where he has unlimited ammo. His fire rate's faster and he's strong. His attacks hit harder. So then the lightning would go from sweet chain lightning to like super fucking hardcore chain lightning, and it was like, yep, sexy.
There was definitely a handful of well, our general strat when killing bosses with ads was that I'd get on the boss and just start smacking the shit out of him, and then when all the ads came in, Dizzle would just melt them. And it was a very effective strategy. I don't think there's any bosses that took more that took more than one try, really.
Yeah, no.
I think once maybe twice through the whole playthrough, we both died at the same time and had to reset. Once was in the arena, because we kept getting booped off the side.
Fucking boops.
Yeah, and it was only the one arena though that we were getting booped off the side, because any other time we'd get booped, but there was kind of there was a barrier, an invisible barrier that wouldn't let you get booped off the side, except for against one enemy, the archers.
Oh, those archers hit hard as fuck.
Yeah, definitely watch out for the archers in the later arenas, because it's an AoE attack that they drop that will shit in your pancakes. It hurts.
Yeah, it does.
No, archers are glass cannons. They go down really quick, but if there's a whole bunch of them that spawn and you're sidetracked fighting something else, they'll drop one of the arrow circles on you.
The
and you'll
worst
just get
was
fucked.
getting knocked down and then having dropping all the AOE right, and it was like I'm sitting there downed waiting for Steel to be able to come revive me, but I have like every archer on the map just fucking AOEing the shit out of my body, and I'm like, it's fine, man. I'll just survive for fucking 15 seconds. I'll respawn.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, the game wasn't very difficult, especially coming off of playing Darksiders 3. Yeah. But I mean, even coming off Darksiders 3, which was much more difficult than 1 and 2, the Darksiders Genesis is not very difficult in comparison.
And like before each mission, it gives you like a recommended power level. So like whatever, like so like mission 4, I think it was like power level of like 320 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so like you going into it, all right, buy some abilities. I might need to upgrade something. They have a whole system in the game essentially called creature cores, which is a really cool system.
Yeah, that's the talent tree of the game, basically.
Yeah, so whenever you're killing mobs or just enemies in the world, they could essentially drop what the game calls creature cores. And each core affects a different stat. So you could have a core that's like, all right, this core gives you a boost on kill, on enemy kill. Strife gets a 6% boost, or a 6% boost to attack for X amount of seconds, or it'd be just a permanent 5% boost to health, wrath damage, anything to that effect, right? So there's a lot of stat effects, and it could also assist with different items in terms of like what build you're going with and everything to that. So then as you collect these cores, they actually level up. So most of them are about 30 cores. So if you collect 30 of one enemy core, it hits the next level, which increases the stat boosts it gives you. So I mean, I thought it was a really cool system. Bosses dropped kind of the rare gold cores that increase different things. Like it was a fun way to boost, to like build into kind of what you wanted, like how you wanted to play the character.
Yeah, the core drops are very RNG dependent. Yeah. There's no way to farm any particular kind of core, but you get so many of them that it really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, they're very generous with souls and cores in this game. I mean, in our normal playthrough, we both maxed out all our skills, and
yeah, but I think by the end of chapter 14, out of 16 chapters, by the end of chapter 14, we'd both maxed out all of our talent trees and everything.
Yeah. Now that wasn't like my cores weren't completely leveled like that, but
right.
I mean, we were still well over the power level rating for the most of the game.
Right.
But yeah, it was a cool system. In fact, the funny thing is, we actually played the first 4 chapters of that before realizing that was even a system in the game, because we had played and gotten through each of the chapters at a lower power rating. And
we were wondering why we were so, because it would tell you the recommended power level, and we wonder like why we were so far under that recommended power level.
Right.
and then it was we'd still get through it, so we'd be like, okay, well, fine, we must just be really good at this.
And then after that night, I was sitting there looking at some of the stuff in the game, and I clicked on that, and I was like, motherfucker, this is a whole goddamn talent tree. So I messaged Steel. I was like, dude, we're idiots.
So from there, the game, the playthrough got much easier.
Yeah.
At that point, we started kind of getting cocky with the pulls and just getting a whole bunch of different things coming in at once, and then just big dicking it all down.
God, it was fun though.
It really was. It's a fantastic game, and the replayability on it. I mean, I'm ready to go back in and start and get those last few arenas out. I want to see how high we can go.
Yeah, there's the arenas, and then you have in true Darksiders fashion. So as you progress through the game, each character, like War and Strife, both unlock new abilities. So like Strife gets like his teleport bomb and another electrical bomb to help you figure out puzzles and stuff like that. War gets his
electrical bomb. By the way, is a great way for whoever is playing War to laugh at whoever is playing Strife.
Yeah, whoever's playing War needs to fuck off a cliff 87 times.
Hey, hold, yeah. Speaking of that, another, probably the most frustrating part of the game, the most difficult boss is gravity, because if for whatever reason you're not paying attention all that closely, or maybe your depth perception isn't wonderful, just be careful if you're not great at platforming, because you will fall off the side in slow motion. And my total death count from falling off of cliffs or being booped off of cliffs was 87. 87 times I was booped to my death, either by myself or somebody else. Most of those were self boops. And in my defense, though, probably about 30 of those at least.
We're in the safe zone.
Well, we're in this safe zone from me and Dizzle trying to discover two different platforming areas that where there's kind of like some hidden resources and stuff. They're boatsman's coins. Where more than a handful of those were from us trying to figure some shit out. But more than I'm proud of, we're not.
So that was the other thing that was really, so there's a lot of, but like with gaining new abilities, it actually can go back to previous chapters and obviously be able to access areas you couldn't previously. So then, that gets to accessing the secret like trickster doors, which give you like some of the better items in the game. So you get more like the boatsman coins, which are used as a currency to buy upgrades and unlocks and everything like that, as well as getting into like finding health boosts, like permanent health boosts for your characters, armor boosts, boosts to your wrath power. So it's a cool, like, again, Darksiders series has always kind of been built on unlocking ability to Metroidvania style, where you get the next ability as you progress, and then you're like, I can finally access this area and this area, and you go back and try and unlock the rest of the shit. And it's a great thing to have, because one, to me, it adds to replayability, but two, the fact that just like the puzzle solving the puzzles in the game are really fun. Like, they're really well done.
Yeah, they really are.
And it's, for me, it was like, okay, like puzzles in a top-down action RPG, or I'm gonna think kind of like Doom or something, where I'm just gonna, or not Doom, but a Diablo and stuff like that, where it's like, all right, I'll just kill this shit and go pull this switch. That's gonna be the thing. Where this was like, okay, I got to open up these teleports and then throw my ghost hand through the teleports to grab this bomb, to chunk it through the teleport on the other side to blow that up, so War can like power punch this fucking platform to then launch me into the sky so I can get to the next platform and then teleport him over. Like, and it's great. Like, I'm like, holy fuck! Like, there's actual like,
it's not. They don't make it incredibly difficult, but you definitely feel accomplished for having figured it out. Which was a lot of fun. And while we're on the topic of puzzles, let me say that in this playthrough, there is the first recorded instance of me figuring out a puzzle before Dizzle. So, suck my butt there, my friend.
You mean jumping across platforms before Dizzle?
Well, that too, actually.
What puzzle did you figure out before me?
I don't remember what it was now, but there was it was something in the desert world. Where there was some puzzle. I'm gonna go back and find the fucking clip. But there was some puzzle.
I think it was like the rune puzzle or something.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was one of the rune puzzles. Yeah, I mean, clips didn't happen, but I'll give him base credit for it right now.
I'm gonna find the fucking clip then, because it did happen. Not only did I beat a platforming thing before Dizzle for the first time ever, but I beat a puzzle for the first time ever before Dizzle. So I thoroughly enjoyed Darksiders Genesis. Let me say that.
And for the first time ever, he actually died more falling off a cliff than Dizzle.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He did it. I mean, he died more than me, but it wasn't the first time.
Oh.
No, I will say the so people who don't have anyone to play with, right? Like it's a great co-op game. Like, and you can do it. It's local co-op, so you got a buddy, sit on the couch, have drink a couple beers, do whatever. You know, play some local couch co-op action. Which, let's be honest, not many games do the couch co-op anymore. The online co-op.
I wish couch co-op would come back though.
Online co-op was really well. Like,
yeah.
We didn't have really any major issues with it. No, I think we got separate. Like, we got dropped from a game once, but it wasn't like the game. Like, it kicked Steel from the game once, but he was able to like immediately join back in.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't anything difficult. No like hard. Like, oh my god, this is like he's completely stuck. Now we have to quit out of the game. Blah blah blah. Like,
yeah,
it was
definitely just, no game breaking bugs at all.
The combat, again, I recommend playing on a controller. I recommend gamepad. You could do keyboard or mouse, but the game was definitely built with a gamepad in mind.
Almost exclusively. There was one point where using a mouse and keyboard was better, and that was only for war, and that was only for one of the puzzles that required more precision than you could comfortably achieve than I could comfortably achieve with a controller. Well, the puzzle was I had
in the Fulgrim area.
Yeah, it was in the Fulgrim area, like the safe area where you had to bounce. Yeah, you had to glide over to a bounce pad basically, bounce up in the air, and then throw. You had to arm and throw the warrior's little shuriken thing. Target 3 different targets, and launch the shuriken, all before you fell to your death. Which I tried a handful of times on the controller, and then and wasn't able to get the timing down, and then I tried it with a mouse and keyboard and got it done the first time. But that's really the only instance that happened at all. The rest of the game was far more comfortable on a controller than mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I tried. Because I ran through the first. I tried the first chapter with mouse and keyboard, and I mean, you can play it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but for me, it felt way more comfortable controller. And even when you launch the game, it does pretty much say like, "Hey, we recommend you use a gamepad."
Yeah.
So, I mean, to each their own. I recommend the gamepad, just because the way the kind of the layout for your abilities and everything just works phenomenally on it.
Yeah, it is definitely optimized for a gamepad.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like any kind of real big drawbacks to the game. I mean, we didn't 100% the game, and we only played it on. So there's 3 difficulties per map, right? There's easy, normal, hard. Once you beat the game, you actually unlock apocalyptic difficulty.
Right.
So for you masochists out there who want to really try and play the game on the hardest, go for it. And then you got each character had different skins. We never figured out how to unlock skins.
No, we didn't unlock any of the skins.
But the real big, like, honestly, what we put...
we figured out how to unlock one of War's skins. We didn't do it, but you have to get like 65,000 AP on the endless.
The arena.
Endless arena.
But like I don't know. I mean, gameplay's solid. No real big bugs. I only had we had the one crash with both of us, and then we each had one small crash.
Yep.
I mean, it was like they actually took their time and made a solid fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to THQ Nordic. They put together a great game. The storyline was top notch. The voice acting was top notch. The gameplay was fantastic. I mean, it was all around. It absolutely worth the $30.
Yeah, it was $30. I mean, we got a solid 15 hours of it. And to be honest with you, we kind of blew through a couple maps really quick.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like I probably will go back and just kind of mess around with, play with it, backtrack, and do all that stuff. But like if I was doing kind of a solo, like my own playthrough, and not kind of just blasting through some missions, and spent more time exploring everything, easily would have got well over 20 plus hours.
Oh yeah, we could probably put another 6 or 7 hours in just doing arenas alone.
Yeah,
finishing off all the arenas. Some of the arenas are pretty fucking tough.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, finishing off the arenas and then trying to grind out a skin or two in the in the endless arena.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could absolutely get 20 hours out of the game without even trying.
So I mean, $30.
And that's just off one difficulty.
Yeah. So $30 and on a quick playthrough, 15 hours. To me, that was well worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just for the quality, right? Like, and the other thing too is I know they've already said, people have asked, oh, what about Darksiders 4? And THQ's already kind of said, oh, well, Darksiders 4 isn't like right on our mind right now because we're we're still like we just released Genesis and we want to provide our full support to that game. So
yeah. Solid on their part.
Our biggest hope is they continue kind of maybe with Genesis, right? Like a little expansion here or there.
You want to tell them about the dream?
Oh my God! So
tell them about the dream. Let them know.
The dream. So imagine, if you will. Let me take you on this journey. Let me take you on this journey.
Yep. Well, take me,
Daddy.
There
you are. You as war, me as strife. And here we have two. We're in heat of battle, and it's like war needs food badly. And you're like, oh,
he does.
And then it's strife. Strife needs mana badly, and you're like, no, I know this setup. It's like almost gauntlet style, and then here drops in Death and Fury and two other buddies, and they're like, let's fuck some shit up, and it's full gauntlet. Top-down action RPG with the four horsemen, and there you are riding through Oblivion, fucking shit up.
Yep.
That's the dream. I would love, like, the way that they did the game, I would love for them to kind of expand and continue on it, and even if they did a game where it was just kind of Fury and Death together, and then they brought all four of them together for a large kind of gauntlet-style action RPG, I'm into it, man.
Yep.
I think
even if it's just DLC, I'd buy it in a fucking heartbeat.
Right. Like I think there's a lot. The great thing with this type of game is I think there's a lot they could do to kind of expand and add to this game world, right? Like even if it's just adding missions and maps and maybe, adding Fury and Death into it as playable characters and then doing a little expansion where you up it and you get the 4-player co-op. Like I think it'd be fantastic.
Oh God. That'd be so good.
Right. Like I mean, and I'm glad to hear that's their kind of their focus is adding maintaining the full support right now for that game. So all in all for this game, yes, there's a couple bugs and little minor things and a crash. For me, just from the lore and gameplay and everything, I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah, it easily deserves an 8.
Yeah. Like I mean, in all honesty, the only thing that it's just you can't ignore the small bugs, right? Like they weren't game breaking and nothing crazy, but they were there and we experienced them. And it sucks, but oh well, it happens.
Yeah, for playing 3 days after release on a multiplayer game, and
right.
it's the first THQ, well maybe not THQ, but it's the first Darksiders multiplayer experience at all, in a completely different kind of game than their traditional action RPG style of Darksiders. So I mean, to have one crash. Or one bug, like one major bug. I wouldn't even really call it a major bug. The game crashes at the end of Chapter 4 is really the worst the game gets. That is the low water mark. That's the absolute worst case scenario. Is the game crashes, you relaunch it real quick, you're good to go. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed by it.
Yeah, I would actually. I'm hoping. I'd love to see more. So
yeah.
Give me more, THQ Daddy.
Yep. If y'all are out, THQ, if y'all are out there and you hear this, hit us up. Give us that good news.
Yeah.
And then give us Darksiders 4 with Strife.
Yes.
And then maybe Darksiders 5 with
Gauntlet.
Yep, Gauntlet. All 4 of them. Or not even Gauntlet. Even if it's just even if it's like a 4-player RPG.
4-player action RPG. Just fuck it.
Oh god, yeah. Like drop in, drop out co-op.
Yeah. I'm into it.
I'm about that life.
But yeah, if anyone was on the fence, I mean, like we said, it's $30, right? So it's not cheap, right? Like it's not a $10, $15, $20 game. It's just it's half of a full release game. But I had zero regret spending $30 on this game.
Yeah, that money well spent in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, again, 15 hours, and I still haven't fully completed it. So, we completed the campaign, but we still have plenty to do. That will add. I mean,
we still have to go back and get that one coin.
Yeah,
that
first
one coin.
That first boatsman coin that'll probably go on to haunt us forever.
Yep, we'll never live it down. So I think that about sums up our summary of Darksiders Genesis, guys.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, like I said, I give it an 8 out of 10. I believe Steel was on the same page with me. You're on the fence. Check it out on Steam. It's $39.99, but it's $39.99 well spent.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So for those of y'all listening right now, we appreciate you guys hanging out and having some fun with us, and we'll be back next Sunday with Sunday Sizzle. In the meantime, you can catch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can catch my stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Steel, Stea1e, and Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you can catch the Dizzle Reno at twitch.tv/Batdizzle. And what are you going to be playing next week there, Dizzle?
We're going back to Control.
Ooh.
So we took a break on Control, so we go up of Darksiders Genesis, and we will be going back into the world of Control to finish that up before some of the DLC comes out. Because I'm like I said, that game has me fucking hooked. I'm so into it. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Steel? What are you jumping into?
I think I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between. I want to start Doom. I want to play through Doom, but I also I want to start doing more Hearthstone on stream.
Ooh.
So I think I'll be doing that there.
Sounds fantastic.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be wonderful.
All right.
But that's going to wrap up the show for the night, boys and girls.